The man who asks a question is a fool for a minute. The man who does not ask is a fool for life. Welcome. Today we will deal with the famous Chinese philosopher Confucius. Confucius, in the original Chinese Confuzi or Kung Fu Tzu, meaning teacher Kong called, was a Chinese philosopher at the time of the Eastern Zhou dynasty. He probably lived from 551 BC to 479 BC, and was born under the name Kongchu in the city of Kufu, in the Chinese state of Lu, now Shandong province, where he also died. The central theme of his teachings was human order, which he believed was achievable through respect for others and ancestor worship. The ideal person Confucius called the noble, a morally good person. A person can be noble when he or she is in harmony with the world whole. To find the pivotal point that unites our moral being with the all-encompassing order, the central harmony, Confucius saw as the highest human goal. Harmony and center, equanimity and balance were considered desirable to him. Confucius saw the way to this primarily in education. He is considered one of the most influential thinkers in Chinese history, and his teachings have had a lasting impact on Chinese culture and society. Now let us share in his wisdom and learn from it. The will to win, the desire to succeed, the urge to reach your full potential. These are the keys that will unlock the door to personal excellence. Choose a job you love, and you will never have to work a day in your life. It does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop. The more man meditates upon good thoughts, the better will be his world and the world at large. The superior man is modest in his speech, but exceeds in his actions. The man of wisdom is never of two minds. The man of benevolence never worries. The man of courage is never afraid. The gem cannot be polished without friction, nor man perfected without trials. He who learns but does not think is lost. He who thinks but does not learn is in great danger. The strength of a nation derives from the integrity of the home. Everything has beauty, but not everyone sees it. A man who does not think and plan long ahead will find trouble right at his door. When anger rises, think of the consequences. The superior man understands what is right. The inferior man understands what will sell. Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. It is easy to hate, and it is difficult to love. This is how the whole scheme of things works. All good things are difficult to achieve, and bad things are very easy to get. The man who moves a mountain begins by carrying away small stones. The noble-minded are calm and steady. Little people are forever fussing and fretting. The essence of knowledge is having it to apply it, not having it to confess your ignorance. To see what is right and not to do it is want of courage. He who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior. The superior man blames himself. The inferior man blames others. When you know a thing, to hold that you know it, and when you do not know a thing, to allow that you do not know it, this is knowledge. By nature, men are nearly alike. By practice, they get to be wide apart. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. What the superior man seeks is in himself. What the small man seeks is in others. To be wronged is nothing unless you continue to remember it. Silence is a true friend who never betrays. Respect yourself and others will respect you. The superior man is distressed by the limitations of his ability. He is not distressed by the fact that men do not recognize the ability that he has. Wheresoever you go, go with all your heart. If you make a mistake and do not correct it, this is called a mistake. To study and not think is a waste. To think and not study is dangerous. Real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. The expectations of life depend upon diligence. The mechanic that would perfect his work must first sharpen his tools. To be able to practice 5 things everywhere under heaven constitutes perfect virtue, gravity, generosity of soul, sincerity, earnestness, and kindness. To be fond of learning is to be near to knowledge. What you do not want done to yourself, do not do to others. When it is obvious that goals cannot be reached, don't adjust the goals, adjust the action steps. The cautious seldom err. Do not impose on others what you yourself do not desire. When we see men of a contrary character, we should turn inwards and examine ourselves. The firm, the enduring, the simple, and the modest are near to virtue. Virtue is not left to stand alone. He who practices it will have neighbors. Ignorance is the night of the mind, but a night without moon and star. To go beyond is as wrong as to fall short. Real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. He who exercises government by means of his virtue may be compared to the North Polar Star, which keeps its place and all the stars turn towards it. The Master said, "Is it not a pleasure, having learned something, to try it out at due intervals? Is it not a joy to have friends come from afar? Is it not gentlemanly not to take offense when others fail to appreciate your abilities? Is it not gentlemanly not to take offense when others fail to appreciate your talents? Is it not gentlemanly to take offense when others fail to appreciate your genius?" Fine words and an insinuating appearance are seldom associated with true virtue. To see what is right and not do it is want of courage. Respect yourself and others will respect you. The superior man is satisfied and composed. The mean man is always full of distress. In a country well governed, poverty is something to be ashamed of. In a country badly governed, wealth is something to be ashamed of. They must often change, who would be constant in happiness or wisdom. When you are laboring for others, let it be with the same zeal as if it were for yourself. Without feelings of respect, what is there to distinguish men from beasts? If you look into your own heart, and you find nothing wrong there, what is there to worry about? What is there to fear? If we don't know life, how can we know death? What is permitted is what is not prohibited. Always act as if the whole world is watching you. The one who wants to live in peace must encourage others to live in peace. The wise man is satisfied with the little he has. The unwise man is dissatisfied with the much he does not have. The greatest joy lies in making others happy. A word that comes from the heart reaches the heart. Being a good person is like a fragrant lotus that blooms even in the dirtiest water. The words you speak should be better than silence. Forgive, but do not forget. The way to greatness is not to surpass others, but to surpass yourself. Success does not depend on the speed of the step, but on the perseverance of the step. The greatest revelation is silence. True words are not always pleasant. Pleasant words are not always true. The path to enlightenment begins with self-knowledge. A mistake that is recognized and corrected is a step on the path to wisdom. The superior man shows generosity, even when he himself has little. A person who is willing to listen will always learn something new. True greatness consists not in dominating others, but in dominating oneself. The wise man knows the limits of his knowledge. The unwise man thinks himself omniscient. Do not act out of anger or rage, but out of reason and prudence. A good teacher opens the door, but you must go through it yourself. The path to wisdom is a continuous learning process that never ends. A true leader inspires others to discover the best in themselves. The greatest pleasure is in achieving the impossible. That was today's episode about the incomparable thinker Confucius. We hope that he could make you think, and that you could take something positive. We would be very happy about a like and subscribe. Stay healthy, and see you next time.